LoCash have joined us. Thanks, boys.
What's
Hey,
up?
hey,
Let's do roll call. Preston,
hey, right here.
Chris,
How you doing?
sporting the old school Tampa Bay Devil Rays hat. I
Yeah,
love it.
buddy.
You know, Wade Boggs got his 3,000th hit, I seem to recall, as a member of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Might
Yep.
very well have been wearing that hat.
He may have. I actually have his jersey in my office.
You got to be kidding.
Yeah, original Wade.
No way. Like original as in Red Sox original or
No,
Devil?
from Tampa.
So
Tampa
I
Bay.
take it you're a huge Devil Rays guy.
I do like the Devil Rays. I like the Orioles, but I like the Devil Rays probably the best if I had to pick.
Can I just tell you this? Chris thinks he's the online coach, and he watches every game like an old man, and I mean, almost gets hit by traffic. I mean, he'll just be yelling at the team through his phone and hitting crosswalks at the same time. We're like, okay, he's fully immersed in this game right now. We gotta really watch his step.
Well, full disclosure, and this probably sounds strange being a Canadian guy, but I grew up a bigger fan of baseball than I did the National Hockey League.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. I'm a huge baseball fan, and believe it or not, I live here in Florida, and the hockey is huge here.
It is.
Huge. It's mostly
It,
Canadians and Russians, but still, they're here.
well, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup last year, of
They
course.
did, yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys on the team was from here,
Yeah.
Nick
Oh,
Cousins.
wow.
He's one of our
Nice.
guys.
That's awesome, man.
Well, if the conversation ended right now, guys, I've enjoyed myself, but we got a lot to talk about. LoCash, you guys started this whole thing back in 2008, but the last 10 years, if any act had the resume that you guys have built over the last 10 years, it would make a great career, but I feel you're just getting warmed up.
Man, I feel the same way. Thank you for saying that. We have a lot of dreams and aspirations that we have yet to check the boxes off. But you're right. I mean, we've sang in the World Series. We've sang at Monster Truck World Finals. We've sang in D.C. for inaugurations for presidents at the White House, and I mean, you name it. We've gone on USO tours around the world, and we've been to Canada and done Canadian tours and Australia. We've been everywhere. But there's so much left to do. And Hometown Home is the new single, and it's launched us back to big time relevancy in the industry. We're sitting top 10 in the US, and we're trying to time the release in Canada so that it kind of peaks at the same time. And man, we've got some TV shows in the works with Netflix and Hulu and NBC and some things like that. So you're right. I mean, we've got a lot more to do.
Yeah, a lot more heaters in those shoulders. And Hometown Home, and you look back at some of the monster hits out of LoCash already throughout your career. This is the fastest growing single that you guys have released.
It is, man. It feels good. I mean, we have, now that we own our own record label, we have our own team. We hired our people that we want in place to take care of it, and they're amazing people. The people we believe in, they believe in us, and it's cool because we get to rely on ourselves. We take the fall ourselves, but at the same time, we could control it. There's no one else against us. Not that anybody was against us, but there's no other thing in our way, so we can go for it. And eventually, hopefully, before the end of the year, we'll have 2 or 3 more acts on our label.
Good. I'd read that you guys had started the record label of your own, and you look at those boxes you want to tick that you're talking about, and I would imagine that's one. But, and I was curious as to why, and I think you've already answered the question as to why you would take on the project of starting your own label.
Yeah, when you're on a major label, there's a lot of artists. I mean, the last label we were on had 40 to 45 artists. So there's all kinds of artists sitting on the runway. If you think of it like an airport, I mean, everybody's got great songs. Everybody's got great branding, great images, great success. And they get a song up and the next one moves out, and they get a song up and the next one moves out. And if there's one little congestion, and we all know airports have congestion, if there's one little misstep in the system, well, then it backs everything up a little bit. And if your song was timed for a certain time and the team, you know what I mean? It can send you back to the gate. And then you got to go back in the airport and you got to regroup. And Man, it can get sideways real quick. And so we like being, the label that is small. We can pivot, we can move, we can adjust. And like Chris said, there's just nobody in our way right now. And we can, and our team is dedicated to us. And that feels great.
Yeah, and to bring that whole airport analogy, complete the circle, rather than being an airplane taxiing to the runway, you guys built your own airport.
That's right. That's it.
Huh.
And we're ready to bring more airplanes in. So and the other mistake that small labels make is they grow too quick and they try to get too many airplanes up too fast. And so Chris and I have been the victim of that as well. And so I think we gauge a nice system between small and big label. And somewhere you got to sit in the middle. You got to grow at the right speed with the right amount of artists, but not too big for your britches.
Very cool, man. You guys really got your act together. It's impressive. Now,
Hope so.
yeah, Hometown Home, the singles on Cool 100. Right now, our audience is warming up to that. Congratulations on its release. Hometown Home, and I love the song. I'm a bit of a sucker for LoCash. You guys keep throwing heaters, and this is another. Tell me about the song.
Man, this is about just, having sometimes you're in your hometown, you built your roots already, and you guys say you're dating your significant other or you're married, and there's a possibility that you could go, you're going to go anywhere she wants to go and be happy and make that a hometown. But sometimes, it's best to just maybe we just stay here where, where our roots have already gone. Let's look around and see what we've already accomplished here. But, again, you're going to go wherever, she goes. But so maybe we make hometown home.
I kind of lived a bit of that experience, I think, myself, not as it pertains to a relationship, but I think when we're all growing up in our hometown, we've always kind of got one eye as to what else is out there. And that's okay.
It is.
When you get that somewhere else, and then you kind of go, why was I in such a hurry to leave my hometown?
That's it. That's it, man. And sometimes, you're gone for 10 or 20 years and you go back to your original hometown. You're like, man, this really was a good place to grow up. This wouldn't have been a bad place to plant our roots. And you got to leave to appreciate sometimes. And that's life with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I basically did it for my wife. My wife is from Tampa Bay, and we lived in Nashville for 10 years, and she wanted to go back home, and I went with her, and I said, you know what, let's make your hometown home.
Yeah, that's right. The shoe can be on the other foot, can't it?
That's right.
Yeah, right on, boys. Congrats on its release. Reading your resume is unbelievable. Again, 1 billion global streams, on-demand streams. The quotes I could read you that writers in the industry say about you guys. But I'm always curious from an artist standpoint, how do you guys define success?
Man, I tell you what, just right now, I think success is being able to juggle all the hats that we have in the air. We're dads, we're husbands, we're family guys. We have a live band. We got to take care of that family. We have a bus and a bus driver and a crew. We have a record label, and that song is doing great. And there's that staff as well. They become like family to us. And I think the number one thing is just making sure we take care of all those people, and then and make sure that everyone feels good about where they are in their life as well. Because if everybody's feeling good and Chris and I are able to juggle all those balls somehow, well, then we're going to have some success. Things are going to move the right way, and it may not move super lightning fast like a Luke Combs record, but then again, you never know. Hometown Home turns out we wrote a pretty strong song. Hopefully, it looks like the research is coming in, and so the song is doing its job as well. And I think when all those things line up, you begin to have this feeling of, wow, we're not just spinning our wheels. Things are actually happening. And that's how I like to gauge our success every day is, are things moving the right direction? And some days they move lightning fast and some days they move like molasses. But as long as we're going this way and not this way, then I think things are good.
I love the fact that you wrapped in that answer. You want to make sure the people working with you and around you are all looked after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think, fellas, that speaks to your character. I also noticed poking around that you guys have some experience surrounding Super Bowl. I think it was 57 a couple of years ago. And I got to tell you, I'm still living with some heartache over the Sunday night game. I'm a Buffalo
Ah,
Bills.
guy, it's just not fair, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, and I'm not taking away from Patrick Mahomes. He's probably the best quarterback in the league, and maybe of all time someday. But it's wrong. It's wrong. The whole
Thank
season,
you.
it's just wrong. It's not fair. There was 2 first downs if they wanted to count, because if they would have went across that and it wasn't a catch, so there's definitely some shady business going on in the NFL.
And that's how that bit of therapy you provided to me is in and of itself why I'm going to make sure Hometown Home gets to be a #1 song in this country.
I think
Chris,
you
I
had the
think
I think you had the world cheering for Buffalo, man. I really do. I think Buffalo's a great team. They're a young team, so they're going to be great. But I mean, there's a lot of games that Kansas City didn't win. They couldn't have won them without the officials, and I hate
And you
that because
can't
I
take
love
away
Kansas
from
City.
you can't take away from the Redskins season. It was fun to watch, but they got their butts handed to them, in that last game. Yeah, we can't sit here and complain about that. I mean, the Eagles beat them. They
Yeah.
belong in the Super Bowl. But the game we're talking about right now, I mean, it doesn't feel right.
Mm-mm.
boys, you have no idea the albatross you've lifted off my shoulders because I've been telling anybody who'd listened for the last day and a half, not only was that 4th down, he broke the plane. 3rd down, Kincaid had it.
That's what I'm saying. That was the first time. Why didn't we challenge that? Why didn't anyone challenge that?
Fellas, you've made me feel better. I love it. LoCash, congrats again on Hometown Home. You'd mentioned songwriting. I know you got to go, but I will say this. There's a lot of songs on the radio that people love that have LoCash's fingerprints on them. You go to a McGraw show and you hear Truck Yada open the show. That's a LoCash song. You Gonna Fly by Keith Urban. So even before you guys stepped in the spotlight yourselves, which have contributed to country music's unbelievable, let alone your own resume. Hometown Home is the latest chapter. I'll leave you with one last question. If 2025 is a perfect year for LoCash, what would you be able to tell me if we were together 1 year from today?
I'm ready.
Go.
2 number ones.
And a TV show.
There, I love it. And what I love about that, guys, you have clear goals in mind, and I hope you nail them. I'll see you in Nashville in about
And no more kids. And no more kids. No more kids. We're done. We've got the Brady Bunch between us.
Yeah, we're good.
Well,
I'm Mike and Chris is Carol.
Right.
No, that's wrong.
Hey, I'm going to let you guys sort that out. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, where do
Well,
people find...
that means you're Alice, Paul.
Hey, that's all right. I'll cook and clean. It's okay.
All right, let's go. We probably have a real fun house if we work this out, guys.
You ain't kidding. Where do people find LoCash on socials?
You can find us at LoCash Music. It's LOCASH Music, and all over on Facebook and Instagram. And hey, I think we should bring back MySpace. I always say it. I really do think we should bring it back.
Why not? Hey,
why not?
If TikTok had to go, MySpace was right there ready to fill the hole, but it turned out not to be a problem.
That's
Guys,
right.
If this week ended right now, I've had all the fun I need. Thanks for this.
No
Thanks,
worries,
Paul.
man. It's good to hear from you.